Hi, I hope you're having an amazing day. Today I want to do another Q&A. I have been going through my emails and finding so many things I want to chat about and answer, and I get a lot of the same emails over and over again, which is why I really want to share them with you. I'm not going to be sharing anyone's personal or private information, of course, but you guys all email me the same things, so I thought it would be helpful, A, for you to know that you're not alone, and B, for me to answer in the best way I possibly can, which would be if I could actually talk to you in person. Sometimes it's hard to write things down, like it's much easier to say them, and since that is difficult to do, especially since there are people in Australia, but most of you are in the US, I thought this would be the best way to do it. If there's anything you'd like to ask me for one of these Q&A videos, please email me at sam@smart-20s.com. So this one actually isn't a question as such, but more of a topic. The light in here is so weird, but Steve's dad is just backing up his Land Cruiser to the caravan, and it will probably take him 20 minutes, so I don't know how long this could go on, but I am continuing. Okay, so yeah, this wasn't so much a question as it was a statement, but one that I really wanted to chat about. So this was the email that I got. Hi, hope you're well. I'm 20 years old. I love dancing. I read blogs during my free time. I'm a student and would love to travel to the UK. I love traveling, but I'm afraid because I'm an introvert. I hope this mail gets to you. Please reply. So just a quick email, because a lot of the ones I receive are a lot longer, and I get so many apologies for long emails. The longer the better. Like, I love it. So yeah, feel free to email me. So yeah, I just want to talk about traveling as an introvert, because I am an introvert. Introverted meaning if I need to recharge, I do that alone rather than in a group of people. So if I really need to re-energize, I don't go to a party, I chill at home by myself. So I know now there's a lot more chat around what introverted and extroverted actually means, and those words, like introverted gets confused with the word shy, and extroverted gets confused with confidence. They are different things. So I don't know if this reader, and I don't want to say her name just because I didn't ask if I could share her name, but I will be asking going forward. So, oh, there is so much noise, but I don't think you can hear it. I think it's just me. So yeah, I really just wanted to share what my thoughts were, and I don't know if she was referring to being shy or being introverted, but for what I'm going to say, it's kind of the same thing. So I've done quite a lot of traveling. I started by going on the school trip in year 11 to France for 3 weeks, which was amazing, and I know it is a privilege to be able to do something like that. I then, in my second year of uni, I think, I went to Europe for 6 weeks with my friend Suze, and we traveled around and planned everything before we left and had a very organized trip. Kind of spent 5 days in each of the major cities. Then I went on exchange to Montreal. I lived there for 4 months and traveled for a month after with the new friends that I'd made. I went on exchange by myself. I didn't know anyone before I got there and moved across the world. Then the year after that, 2014, I went on a 4-week Europe trip to meet up with the people I met on exchange. And then the end of 2015, early 2016, which is my most recent trip, I went to Peru for 2 weeks with the National Breast Cancer Foundation to raise money for that, and then came home for 3 days, and then went to Europe and New York for 8 weeks total. And that trip was unplanned. Like the trip was planned, but where we went was unplanned. So I went with my friend Lib, and we had other friends drop in for different bits of the trip. And yeah, so we got to London and we're like, where should we go? And Lib was like, oh, well, I've heard we could go to Latvia. And we're like, okay, let's go to Latvia. And then we went from there. So all different kinds of trips. And some of it has been traveling with friends. Some of it has been traveling by myself. When I went on the trip where I met up with different friends I have in Europe, I was by myself between all the places, like getting from place to place. When I went on exchange, I went over not knowing anyone. But then when I did my trip with Lib and my trip with Suze, I was with them both the whole time. So I've done all different kinds, and I would say it's been similar experience each time. I am going to be talking about staying in hostels. I don't think I've done a trip where I've just stayed in only hotels or only Airbnbs, like a longer term trip, because even though I'm an introvert, I do like meeting people, and staying at hostels, in my experience, is the best way to meet people. And to really, like, a lot of my most favorite travel memories are with people that I met when I was overseas. And then I've gone back and done trips just to meet those people again. Like, you really create such amazing friendships when you're traveling and having those new experiences. So I guess to just share a bit of my advice, firstly, is to stay in places where you will meet other people. So you can go and stay in only hotels or only Airbnbs and not put yourself out of your comfort zone. But in my experience, as I was just saying, the best shit happens when you're uncomfortable. And I'm not the kind of person, you can probably tell, but I will just say it anyway. I am not the kind of person that goes into a room and makes myself, and I don't make myself known to everyone. I don't say, oh my God, like, I am friendly, I hope, but I'm not super loud. I feel awkward. I would much rather just hide in the corner by myself, but I have learned how to not listen to that desire and to actually go and meet people, because it's so good meeting new people. But just being willing to be uncomfortable and not being like, oh, but it's, I'm so shy and I'm so introverted, I just can't talk to new people. I think having that story about yourself, I mean, you have met new people before, so it's not true, but just part of the amazing experience of travel is meeting new people and new experiences. And it is so easy to talk to people when you are traveling. You literally, if you don't know what to say, you can say, where have you been? Where are you going next? And you will get so much conversation out of just that. And often people will have been somewhere you've been as well, and you can talk about that, or somewhere you want to go and you can talk about that. It is really easy to chat with people about travel, and then you can kind of, figure out if you have other things in common from there. But it's so easy. By the end of a trip, it is always quite draining. Like, during the last week, I'm like, I cannot explain my trip again, like, because people ask me as well, so I'm like, oh, this is where I've been and this is where we're going next, and it does get tiring. But you can always retreat every now and again, but to really make an effort to chat to people and say hi. And most of the people that travel and stay in places like hostels, you don't have to stay in a dorm, you can stay in a private room in a hostel, but I think staying somewhere with a common area, especially if you're in your late teenage years or your 20s, is just so amazing. Like, my best memories are at some of the scungiest places. That probably sounds a bit gross, but just those places that have communal areas, and we would kind of try and plan it. Even when we're doing the unplanned plan as you go trip, we'd have hostels and we'd stay in dorms, and then so sleeping in the same room as people we didn't know. And then we'd always try and plan in breaks of either staying in a private room or going to an Airbnb, just because it is quite draining always having to chat to new people, especially if you're an introvert. But there are ways to plan for that, and I really believe that it would be such a shame to let a fear of meeting new people and fear of not having anything to say and judgment and all of that stop you from traveling, because it's the best thing. And I'm just super fiddly today. Sorry. As I say that, I'm still fiddling. So, yeah, my advice is to be open and willing to be uncomfortable, and to not create an expectation that you need to be better with people before you can travel and meet new people. And my advice with talking to new people, if you see there are often people traveling alone, go up to them and say hi. Like, it really is as simple as saying hi, whatever. Like, I don't know if this is too simple, but just saying, hey, like, where have you traveled from? And it's just so easy to start a conversation when you're traveling, because you all have that traveling experience in common, and most travelers love talking about travel. A lot of people have hilarious stories and have been to amazing places, and yeah, I love talking about travel. And as I was saying, it does get a bit tiring, but to not listen to the fear and book yourself into only places where you're forced, like you're letting yourself really just stay in your comfort zone the whole time. If you don't want to stay at hostels, then at least going to places where you will be able to interact with people who are traveling. You can always go to any hostel or bar. You don't have to be staying there or anything like that. There are a lot of places you can go to meet people, and yeah, no one thinks you're weird for traveling alone. Like, I've met so many people that are traveling alone, and they're often the coolest people and the best ones to hang out with, because if there are two people, like, okay, maybe, I don't know if that's true, but if you're traveling with a friend, you can really let yourself stay in your comfort zone, because you don't have to talk to someone new to be able to talk to someone. But if you're traveling alone, like, a lot of people traveling alone will do so, and they'll go and like just sit in one of the common areas by themselves, and it's so easy to talk to them. Like, and I'm not I'm not like some amazing charming person that can talk to anyone, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going anywhere with this, but that's just my experience traveling as an introvert. I am so glad that I haven't let that, like, I don't think it is a disadvantage or anything like that. Like, I think, I don't know, of course there are people who are traveling that you won't get along with and people that you will. It's just like life. There are all different kinds of people, but you can quickly determine who those people might be, especially once you've been traveling for a while. And it's really easy to avoid the people that you don't want to hang out with, because you're like, bye. So yeah, that's just my advice on, or my thoughts on traveling as an introvert. And when I went on exchange, which is probably the biggest time I felt really uncomfortable, like uncomfortable in the best way, like just leaving my comfort zone. So in Brisbane, went to Montreal, other side of the world, didn't know anyone in Montreal at all, didn't know anyone in Canada, and didn't book a place to stay before going because I wanted to meet who I would be living with in person. Like, I didn't want to end up signing a lease for a place that potentially looked different to the photos with people that sounded different in real life than they did when we were chatting. So, and I was just chatting with people who were doing the same exchange program, so there are no issues with that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to make sure it would seem like we'd get along if we'd be living together for 4 months, which is quite a large amount of time to live with someone. if you don't get along. So I went to Montreal, stayed in a hostel until I found a place. I got there a few days before exchange started and met, I was at that point a solo traveler. Hung out with some of the people in the hostel for the first few days and did a few touristy things in Montreal, and then on exchange the first day met the girls I was going to be living with, and we went and looked at an apartment, and the first one we looked at was perfect, amazing. My bedroom was more than double the size of this room. It was so good, and stayed in it from that night onwards. Didn't have any issues whatsoever anytime with the rent. So good. But just when I was on the plane, I was like, holy crap, what the fuck am I doing? I was dating Steve then, as I still am now, and leaving him for 5 months, and but I look back on it as one of the best experiences of my life. And I truly believe it's because I was so far out of my comfort zone. If I had gone on exchange with a friend, I'm sure it still would have been amazing, but I wouldn't have been forced to make new friends and really shoved out of my comfort zone the way that I was. And it's amazing how quickly you can adapt to a new situation, and within a few weeks it felt like I'd been there for months and I'd known everyone for a lifetime. So I highly would encourage you to still travel and to still meet new people, even if you're an introvert, even if you're shy. I am both of those things, and I have never really found it to be any kind of setback when it comes to traveling. So just wanted to share my thoughts on that. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer, please send me an email, sam@smart-20s.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post a new video every single day, and don't forget to check out my blog, which is smart-20s, all spelled out, TWENTIES.com. I will see you in the next one. Bye!